Well, today is Tuesday, January 21st. The deep freeze here in Calgary is over for now. A couple of days we had minus 20 C, which was crazy cold. Now I just got up, brewed some tea, heading to work. And I already know what my first run is going to be, because yesterday they asked me to preload RT boom lift, one of my favorite machines. And yesterday I spent pretty much all day, you know, when I'm driving. I'm lucky to have I'm lucky to have a Sirius XM satellite radio, and they allow me to listen to it on my smartphone, because I downloaded the app Sirius. And at first, when they mentioned this, I said, you know, why would I want to listen to the radio on the phone? But the problem is, like the truck I'm driving, this Freightliner, or you know, or any of our Ford or Ram pickup trucks, like they don't have satellite radio, right? And so yesterday, I think, and we are 2 hours back from New York time, so I think I started listening at like 9 a.m., which was 11 in New York and Washington, and it was pretty interesting. Yeah, like I listen, mostly I stick to CNN, MSNBC, because they were giving, there was very few commentaries, but they were what the, sorry, I pushed the brake. Come on. All right, 32 degrees, we can go. And so yeah, it was pretty interesting, and because everybody in Canada was kind of like waiting with a bated breath if Trump would sign any orders for tariffs on the first day. And we already ready to countermeasure, like my new favorite politician in Canada, Doug Ford. Cool guy. I think he should be the prime minister. So he says, if they implement tariffs, if they declare a trade war, we're gonna respond. And one of the measures he was mentioning is, first off, he's gonna cut electricity to 1.5 million homes in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and there's like another state, I forgot, Wisconsin, that turns out Ontario supplies electricity to. And then the next measure he mentioned yesterday, which was interesting, he said he was talking to because you know, our politicians were calling, you know, all politicians, you know, governors in US, trying to plead with them, you know, not to do this stupidity, the tariffs, because nobody wins, because we'll have to impose our own tariffs, the prices will go up everywhere, lots of jobs will be lost on both sides of the border. And so Ford said, he was talking to a guy from Kentucky, I think a governor of Kentucky, and that guy says, please don't touch my bourbon. And that gave the, you know, in terms of tariffs, and that gave the Ford the idea. He says, if they implement tariffs, on the next day I'm gonna give an order to LCBO, which is a company, Liquor Control Board of Ontario, which owns the liquor stores in Ontario. He says, I'm gonna give the order to LCBO to remove all US made alcohol from shelves and stop buying alcohol from US. Can you imagine how much money that is? It's a huge amount of money. And actually I remember they did this when during the first Trump term he started tariffs. I think they did that at LCBO. They removed all US alcohol. So yeah, it's a stupid idea. Nobody wins, because you know we cannot afford 25% tariffs and just, you know, sit back and enjoy life. No, because that would affect, like they were saying, I forgot how many, but like thousands of jobs would be lost in Canada if this was implemented, you know. And like the company will be, I mean the country would really be crippled, you know. And so we would have to respond. It's like a war. And a lot of people in Canada were pretty offended by this, you know. Like Ford, again, Doug Ford says it was like a knife, you know, in the heart, because we were neighbors, we were friends, and then, you know, you go to your neighbor's house and you say, hey, by the way, we're gonna change our relationship a little bit. So anyway, let's stay away from politics. Another news, I bought another gun. It's now on the way from Ontario, where most best online deals are for some reason. So I went online, checked the pricing, and I decided I needed a smaller rifle, because I had two shotguns and one rifle, a Ruger American. But then I needed money, so I sold the Ruger and I sold that Mossberg 590M. And so now I had only this Turkish clone of MP4 left, which actually works pretty good once I figured out how to adjust the red dot. And it's semi-auto, you know, for like 500 bucks Canadian. But you still want to have a second gun. And I did not understand this until I started shooting myself. And that's why that 590M lost the appeal, because turns out, who knew that guns get hot pretty fast, right? So I don't know, you do like 10 shots, it's already super hot. You have to let it sit. And so if you have only one gun, you know, that's it. You put down the gun, you wait till it cools down, like, I don't know, 10 minutes. But if you have two guns, right, so you can alternate them, which is perfect. So you shoot like in my case now, I bring the rifle and the shotgun. I shoot the shotgun, it gets hot, put it down, grab the rifle, do some shots. And now the weather's good, so I might go maybe maybe second weekend, because I ordered a small rifle. It's called Mossberg MVP Patrol. Some people say, oh, it's not very good, but you know, it was 750 bucks Canadian. And I bought red dot, the same one I'm using always, but they were out of that one, so they give me same company but slightly different model, but the same idea, red dot, like with a tall stand, because I'm left eye dominant. But I did not order any ammo, because I still want to do more research, because they say the caliber of the gun is 5.56 or 5.56 NATO / 223 Remington, but it's not yet clear. Like, I know the primary is 5.56, and they're saying that you can shoot 223, but you're gonna lose something, because 5.56 it's more pressure, higher temperature. But again, so I need to do more research to see which. I know I can use 223, but, and they're saying actually 223 is a bit more accurate at beyond 500 yards. But we'll see. I went to a local Bass Pro shop when I was there, I was doing some Ubering, and one customer I drop off right at Cross Iron Mills, and there's Bass Pro Shops in there, Cabela's, and I thought, hey, maybe I should go and check out the ammo, see how much. I know this 5.56 is cheap, by the way. That's another reason why, before my Ruger was 6.5 Creedmoor, and it was pretty expensive, and so I was looking for something that's designed for cheap ammo. And of course, if you're new to guns, you can only shoot the ammo that the gun is designed for, like it'll say on the barrel. So if it's 6.5 and it's too expensive, you cannot just switch to I want to start shooting, that, what is it, 7.62 by 39. By the way, that's one is super cheap. That's like a Russian AK-47 bullet, 7.62 by 39. And there's lots of cheap stuff from China, but you have to watch not to buy something that it causes a rust. But they have something that's okay. Like there's different versions, but that one is not very good for target practice. Maybe like, I don't know, 100 meters is okay, but it's not super accurate. But 5.56 NATO is the cartridge used by many NATO armies, and because of that, there's a lot of this stuff on the market. And I checked the pricing. Hey, like 1,000 rounds over here in Canada was like $700, or you can get, I don't know, 200 rounds for maybe $150. So yeah, 5.56 is definitely cheaper. That's why one reason I got this. So just as I thought, my first run is with this nice RT boom lift. I preloaded on the night before, and when we do that, guys put my truck in the shop so that the machine stays warm, right? They don't care about the truck, because the truck would be okay, but especially now it's like -4. Now it's -2 Celsius. It's pretty warm comparatively. But these machines, they don't like cold very much. Even though actually we keep them on outside because they're big. But when you preload them, they drive the truck. Like I leave the truck outside because I go home earlier than the shop guys. And so I left the truck outside, left the key in, like in the yard. And then they drive it in, and they plug in the electric cable into the machine, so to keep it charged overnight. And then in the morning they drive it out, and it was all nice and warm inside because it stayed in the shop. I did my logbook, did pre-trip inspection, checked the chains, took the key out, because actually I'm doing kind of like a little a road trip. I'm going to Strathmore. It was yeah, 50 kilometers. So this is Airport Trail. The airport is to my right. This is where sometimes I go to do Uber. I didn't do anything yesterday because Mondays are always dead, but I might do something today after work. Just go and see if I can get something on Uber, Lyft, or DoorDash. Speaking of DoorDash, and I think it was Saturday or Sunday, I ended up at the cross-eyed meals at the shopping center, and I started DoorDash, and I got 2 orders from the same chicken place inside the cross-eyed mall. And one was a 10-kilometer drive, and then the other one was like 2.5. Sorry. And I made 25 bucks. You know, that's better than taxi, because taxi would be 10 bucks for the first run, 10 kilometers, and maybe $4 for the second one. It would be like $14, $15. Unless they give me a tip. So yeah, sometimes food delivery is actually not, it's, I don't know, rarely. So now, because of I was refusing lots of cheap offers, my acceptance rate on DoorDash is like 29%. I think soon they're gonna close my account. But they're giving me something like 10 bucks and drive 20 kilometers. No, I'm not gonna drive 20 kilometers for 10 bucks, I'm sorry. But now I started using it a bit more because taxi was dead for some reason. I don't know, like the beginning of January and the middle of January, I don't know, there's no people. I'm guessing everybody left for holidays, for vacations. So the revenue from Uber and Lyft just went down. I don't know. Normally I would make like 400, 450 a week, you know, gross. Last week I think I made like 250, you know, and that's trying really hard and getting up at 4 a.m. on Saturday. Yeah. So now I'm heading over to Strathmore. So Airport Trail merges with Ring Road 201, and then I'm heading south, and then I'm taking Trans-Canada Highway 16 east towards Saskatchewan. But I'm not going quite as far as Saskatchewan. It's probably from the Ring Road, it's probably, I don't know, 20 kilometers. There's a Chrysler dealer in Strathmore. Once when I was looking for a Dodge Challenger, I sent them a question from Auto Trader. Oh yeah, I think they made a mistake. They made a mistake on the ad. Not a mistake, I think it was a lie, you know, deliberate lie. Let's say they're telling you the car is more expensive trim, but then when you look at the pictures, you can see, let's say, they're saying it's a Hellcat Challenger, but when you look at the picture, it says RT, or, you know, they say it's RT, whereas it's GT, like a lower trim, you know. And so I sent them a message about that. I said, you guys realize that you are misleading customers, and in revenge they put me on their mailing list, and now every month I'm getting some flyer, like email flyer about their specials, which is interesting because it's Strathmore, that's where I'm going. It's a small town, kind of like maybe smaller than Cambridge in Ontario, where I used to live. And so after this, so I drop off this boom lift. There's a auction, you know, where they trade cattle. That's where I'm going. Some electricians are doing some work over there, so they rented this boom lift, probably working on top of the building or on some posts, I don't know. And after that I have 2 pickups. Both are scissor lifts, medium size, and then I have to drop off some parts at the distributor. And that's it. And then I'm going back. And usually second run, they make me switch vehicles. So they might put me in a pickup truck. And I might do some small machinery or a scaffolding. Or sometimes I stay in the Freightliner for the entire day. But it's not unusual to be jumping back and forth, you know, like I do Freightliner. So I always ask the dispatcher, I said, okay, what am I in a Freightliner or a pickup truck? And when my truck is in the shop, like, you know, a regular shop, some oil change or something broke down, I can pretty much deliver everything I deliver on the Freightliner with a pickup truck and that small trailer we have. Yeah, because I think I can do like 10,000 pounds. This boom lift, I checked, there's a stamped weight on the side. It's like 10,150 pounds, which means it still qualifies as heavy machinery. So you must abide by the rules for tying down heavy machinery. So 4 chains, 4 binders, and chains must be 3/8 or bigger. And honestly, I don't know what these chains are. Like, there's no markings on them, but I think they're bigger than what is it, like 3/16? So yeah, I need 3/8. No, 5/16, right? That's the standard cheap chain. 5/16 of an inch. Because yeah, 3/8 it's the same as 6/16, so it's just slightly bigger than 5/16. The airport trail very nicely connects with 201, and what's most important is that you get your own lane. Like, until this point there's 2 lanes, and then this one becomes a 3rd lane, like this one, which I'm driving in. And so you don't even have to change lanes. And quite often in the morning, the part of this 201 north of here, because of only 2 lanes, gets very crowded, and it always the traffic improves after this because you get another lane. And so quite often, instead of taking 201 from the top, I do this. I take airport trail because it seems to be faster, and then you're getting your own lane. Beautiful. it's only 6 kilometers from here to Highway 16. Taking Highway 16 east.
Continue for 2 kilometers.
Quite the junction. Check this out. I'm going back under the 201. It's like huge circle, you know. Another 201, the other side. And finally we are on Highway 16, which I traveled on so many times when I was trucking. Mostly when I was delivering something from Ontario to Alberta or BC. Because it, yeah, you take Highway 16, 11 through Ontario, and then you enter Manitoba, and you cross Manitoba, then you cross Saskatchewan, and you're in Alberta.
Continue on Alberta east for 35 kilometers.
Wow, 35. That's like almost 20 miles. So this is a road trip. So yeah, 50 clicks from our shop, or 30 miles, and then of course I have to drive back to my next pickup. So it's gonna be fun. I like trips like this, you know, when you get out of town. Hey buddy, it's 80 kilometers an hour here. The guy's driving 60. Wake up. Into inspection station, and these inspection stations here around Calgary, the speed limit is 10 kilometers an hour. So I guess you can get a speeding ticket if you're doing, I don't know, 11. I think I'm doing 11. Holy mackerel. Alright, where's my paperwork? I think in case they ask for paperwork, should be somewhere there. I'm not. Okay, far on the right. It says proceed. Okay. So basically what they do sometimes, you know, they have this, I call it catch and release mode. They say it's in kilos, kilograms, because they're looking for much bigger fish. Like behind me there's real semi trucks. That's where they can do lots of damage in terms of fines and tickets, you know. Like they don't want to bother with a 5-ton truck like this, but I'm pretty sure they looked at to see at least they have chains on the load. But it's so bright there, they have so many lights. Yeah, this one here, I forgot about this one. And there's one on Highway 2 North, just before Edry. The same idea, 10 kilometers an hour speed limit. You have to go very slow. It takes forever, you know, to roll through that station. But yeah, I remember when I had when I was trucking a semi truck, every time there's something, they can find something. The last ticket I got, I think it was in Saskatchewan. So I was pulling my 60-ton trailer, the RG, and I had the heavy machine. And for some reason, something happened with the booster. It was not transferring the weight to the booster, so the booster was way too light. And you know, when I looked at the airbags were kind of like similar in size, but I did not scale after I loaded, but I just, you know, eyeball it. But turns out the booster was very light, and of course because of that the tandem in front of the booster was overloaded. And so the guy gives me a ticket. I think it was like $350. It's never cheap, you know. Or another time, long time ago, when I had an international, I was somewhere in the eastern Canada, and I was crossing into US, and all the guy asked me for, he jumped on the step, asked me to open the window, and he says, turn your key and let me see the screen. That's it. And I had to spend over $2,000 to fix that ticket, because basically when you turn the key, the truck, you know, cycles through all kinds of checks, right? And he was looking for a couple of specific icons light up, and when they didn't, he says, okay, your I think it was ABS. He says your ABS computer is faulty. Gives me a ticket. And then yeah, I had to replace the entire thing. It's like the chip, you know, it was I think it cost me over $2,000. I don't remember how much the ticket itself was, but I have a video somewhere in my channel. And the guys were leaving comments. One guy says, hey, I had a ticket exactly for the same thing, because you know, the thing with these inspection officers or DOT in the States, they have very limited knowledge. You know, they're like a boxer who can throw 3 punches very good. You know, like he knows a couple of combos, you know, like liver, heart, chin, you know. So that's all they know. And so they all, I find, they specialize in something. They always look for the same thing. Like each inspector has his own, as we say in Russian, konyak. his own trick. So one guy checks this ABS, another guy likes to check the brakes. And by the way, because of that, that's the most typical cause for getting tickets, is the air brakes being out of adjustment. When they measure the rod, if it's longer than it should be, because it goes in and out, if it's longer than it should be, or shorter, it means I'm not a mechanic, but I know that's what they are checking. They're checking the length of that rod in the air brake system there. And so it's very easy, right? But for that to happen, you have to go on usually they put you on a pit, and the guy goes underneath. It's not very pleasant, right? So this trick with ABS is much easier, much quicker. So yeah, I got my fair share of tickets, and then you really start hating, all these inspectors, because they're just looking for money. It's nothing to do with safety. It's all about money. It's like a tax, You're a driver, you have your own truck. Here's some little road tax. Once a guy in Cincinnati gives me a ticket for one wrong letter on the permit. So I was hauling a Cat 336 excavator, and for some reason on the permit, when I was ordering the permit, I asked the permit broker to issue the permit for Cat 330, which is a smaller machine. And so this idiot checks the paperwork, tries to find something, to find fault with. Oh, wait, your excavator, it's not 330, it's 336. Gives me a $150 ticket. I still remember. Well, yeah, I know it's lighter and you're probably not overloaded, but rules is rules, right? Scumbag. So anyway, yeah, don't get me started on these inspectors. So, and that's another reason why I'm driving in the city, and I'm driving a small truck. So I pretty much never have to deal with these idiots again, because when I'm in a pickup truck, I don't have to go in, because it's only for trucks over 4,500 kilos gross weight, which is what, like 10,000 pounds. So in this truck I have to go, but when I'm in a pickup truck I don't have to go in, And that scale on Highway 2 north of Calgary, it's pretty much always open. And so I see these poor guys in semi-trucks like lining up there, and it's 10 kilometers an hour, so they're dragging forever through that scale. And I'm flying by in the pickup truck. Easy. But when I do go in this truck over there, I just don't want to deal with these morons, so I take another road, because quite often my deliveries in that area, they're either Cross-Eyed Mills or somewhere there, Balzac, not far from Calgary. Usually I don't go this far. Like, this is far. No, actually I do go, when I go south of Calgary,
Turn left onto Range Road 253.
all the way on the other side of 201 there, these new areas, it's still Calgary, but it's 50 clicks from our shop. Okay, it's somewhere here.
Continue straight, then slide left.
Now here's crazy turn, so people are driving at 110 kilometers an hour. Or maybe not quite. Okay, after this guy we can go. actually, this is the place.
Slight left, then turn left.
It's called Calgary Stockyards. Well, I see some kind of van.
Turn left, then you will arrive at your destination.
So usually that's who I'm looking for. I'm looking for some kind of contractors, right? So I think these guys are electric. Oh yeah, I see the guys. The guy is waving at me. Cool. So I guess that's where they keep the animals during the auction. Man, can you believe the horror? So the animal is coming. Well, it's not exactly a slaughterhouse, right? It's just people are buying and selling cattle, and they have some. Look at that. How old is that Ford? Holy mackerel! Even the letter R fell off. So now it's not Ford, it's F-O-D. FOD. Man, that's probably like 70s, you know? So it's probably 50, 60 years old. I wonder if it still works. Yeah, he probably moves hay on this one. Yeah, so they told me there's a cul-de-sac, as they call it. So I can turn around. I don't see any animals. And see, and all the cages are numbered, kind of like a parking spot, you know. When you're an auction buyer, they say, okay, you won. You can pick up your purchase at cell 646. Wow. I've never been to one of these. And so I unloaded it on the road, and the guy just drove it in through that gate. He says they're doing some work in that big barn. I guess that's where, yeah, that's where the auction happens. See, this is another one. Check this out. Oh, this is also another Ford. Wow. The front is all cracked. So yeah, this is definitely 70s, maybe 80s. Look at that. The emergency light on the top, like the size of that, it's almost as big as what they use, as what Michigan police uses. It's a big property. I don't know. Probably good money in that. So somebody came up with an idea to create a trading place for farmers and specializing in animals. All right, so now I just have to plot the route for my first pickup, and then I'll be on my way. I don't want to pull up in there because I might get stuck. It's all ice, as you can see. Yeah, nice easy delivery. Took me 6 minutes because I have to write down time of arrival and time of departure. Or maybe it was like 8 minutes. I came here at like 7:58. Well, started unloading probably at 8, and it's only I had 5 chains, 4 on the machine and 1 on the bucket. Established, the sign says Calgary Stockyards, established 1903. Holy moly, how many years is that? It's 122 years. See what, which means what? That this is a very good type of business if it's been around for 122 years. Wow, unbelievable. So So on the way back, I decided to bypass that inspection station on Trans-Canada. So instead of going west all the way on Trans-Canada through that station, which would be open now, I'm guessing, I just went south. This is Highway 24. Very nice highway. Speed limit is 100 kilometers an hour. And this one, so I'm heading south right now. So if I keep going like this, I'm gonna end up in Lethbridge. This is basically towards US. So I just set the cruise at 95 clicks an hour. I'm not in a rush, but then in 4.5 kilometers I take Glenmore Trail, Highway 8, west towards Calgary, and that's where my pickup is. My pickup is, you see, this is a little town called Cheadle. 2.5 houses. Wow. Cheadle. And so yeah, Highway 8. Once I cross the Ring Road 201, I already sent them a message to the guy, giving him my ETA. And these things, I really like how they work. You know, when you let people know, like that electrician that was waiting for me at the auction house. As soon as he saw my truck, he started waving. So because I sent him a message, I didn't call him, I just sent him a message saying that I'm coming, here's my ETA. And so he was ready. And of course Google Maps, like the ETA is not accurate. So I always add, you know, 5 or 10 minutes. So let's say in this case Google said ETA 7:45. I added 10 minutes, I said 7:55. And then if you end up coming a little bit earlier, customers like that, because that's what I call under-promise and over-perform. Under-promise, over-perform. I did that in trucking a lot, you know, because people say, okay, what's your ETA? And you know that it's around 2 hours, so if you tell them hour 50 minutes and then you're there in 2 hours, they're not gonna be happy, right? But if you tell them, well, 2 hours 20 minutes, but you're there in 2 hours, then they're gonna be happy, you know, like, hey, this guy drives really fast. So that's the key, to keep customers happy. Under promise, over perform. Okay, so this is my Glenmore Trail. And I think this guy is doing the same thing. There's a guy turning on with a flatbed. Oh no, he's going straight.
Turn right onto Glenmore Trail, Township Road.
Because I see he has lots of weight on the back there. Well, of course, I have no idea how heavy that stuff is, but I see there's like a bulky shape on the back, and so he's taking this Highway 8 instead of
Continue on Glenmore Trail.
instead
7 kilometers.
instead of taking Trans-Canada Highway 16, and then you're gonna jump in on another road, and this way he bypasses the scale. You know, that's what truckers do sometimes, right? Because you don't want to mess with those idiots. I'm telling you, each time they'll find something. If you're not overweight, it's your brakes. If it's not your brakes, it's your lights. If it's not your lights, it's ABS. If it's not ABS, it's the missing wrong letter on your permit. Like, man, get a real job already, you know what I'm saying? Or this is some kind of another little micro town. So, welcome to rural Alberta. And we are only 20 kilometers away from Calgary. But it's already, look, it's all fields. I'm telling you, there's so much land here still. Oh, by the way, I read an interesting story on Google. On Google today. Usually I show up at work like 10 minutes before I have to go in, so I sit in my car and I check the latest news. And one lady, I don't know if you guys saw it, but one lady bought 1 acre of land in Hawaii, somewhere in the jungle. She bought an acre for $20,000 US. And she was waiting for the good weather to go there and check it out, because I guess she wanted to build something there. And then she gets a call from a real estate broker who notifies her that the house on her property sold for $500,000. And she's like, wait, what house? I bought a vacant land lot. So it turns out some local developer grabbed that piece because he was buying up land in that area, like large parcels, and somehow they didn't realize, or maybe they made it by for a purpose, but they grabbed her land and they built a house on it. And so it took many months of legal battles for this lady, but she has all the paperwork. She's the owner of the land. And the developer didn't want to pay her anything. And so she said, fine. And so the judge moved to demolish the house. So the developer has to tear down the house and return the land to its original shape. But unfortunately for the lady, I guess she wanted to get some money out of it. I don't know, because I would say, pay me for the land. Oh, actually they offered her, they said, we can give you a similar parcel in the same area, because they're all the same. It's kind of like a jungle, they're all the same. She says, no, I want this one. So the lady didn't want to yield, because the lawyer for the developer says, because she was hoping to get some money. Well, yeah, if you build on my land without my permission, of course I want to make some money, right? What the heck? This is still America, right? People should respect private property. This is not Russia. Well, a small scissor lift is now on my deck. And my next stop is a distributor place where I have to drop off some. I think these are hoses. Not sure what kind of hoses, because it's all sealed. Hoses for repair. And then after that I'm picking up one more scissor lift and heading back to base to see what other exciting. What? It says I have to go straight. Which way? I'll go this way. I don't know. That's how I came. Interesting crosswalk for pedestrians, 18 feet 1 inch clearance.
Turn right onto 76th Avenue Southeast.
Okay, so I chose the proper direction. Oh, that's the competitor, Sunbelt Rentals. Son of a gun. Such a nice truck. These guys are my envy, because they have
76th Avenue Southeast.
3-axle trucks. They have much heavier trucks. Now look at this guy. So he has a 100-foot long trailer with 3 axles, and he's now he's blocking that lane. I'm not sure what the plan is, but man, that's a long trailer. By the way, that's a type of business you can do in Alberta. You know, people buy these big, like, diesel pickup trucks with 4 wheels on the back, and then they buy a trailer like that, and they become a hotshot operator. So you see, like, this guy had like only a couple of skids.
Use the right lane to turn left onto Marlow Trail southeast south.
I don't know. I looked into this because you don't like, registration is very simple. Let's say if you only do it in Alberta, you know, you don't need any IFTA, cheap plate, because they're not messing with other jurisdictions.
At the light, use the right lane to turn left onto Marlow Trail southeast south.
But it's, again, you know, like, these guys, I'm guessing they do a lot of travel. But somebody told me they do charge a return trip. So let's say if somebody needs to send a couple of skids to Fort McMurray from Calgary, they charge you a return trip. And the rate is not actually that bad, but the problem in Alberta is that people don't like brokers here. Most businesses deal directly with each other. And so how do you find customers if you cannot work with brokers? And load boards are pretty much useless here. I remember each time I came here with my big truck, 60-ton and 55-ton trailer, it was super difficult to get out. Oh, kind of like my truck, T880, except mine was 4-axle machine. But I remember loads coming here paid pretty good, like oversized heavy loads. I did like some pipe layers or dozers or excavators, but then coming out, it's just crazy. See, like, here you see a guy, maybe hauler. Oh, and we back to Glenmore Trail. Okay.
Turn right onto Glenmore Trail southeast.
But yeah, that would be, you know, getting like a diesel pickup truck,
5 kilometers.
you know, with so you can sleep in the back there, so that you don't have to go to the hotel each time. It's not a very difficult job, right? If you only have a couple of skids, you put 2 straps on and that's it. A pickup truck like that, like a Ram 3500, here in Calgary you can buy brand new diesel Cummins for about $82,000 Canadian. Okay, drop off the box and the distributor here, some hoses for repair, and I'll show you if I still have the battery. I didn't check life in there. I'll show you how I'm getting to the last pickup for this trip, but I'm picking up one of our biggest scissor lifts. the one that it can go up to 32. No, there's still a bigger one. I think this one goes to 32 feet. And I'm picking this up at the airline. So I'm going to the airport, and there's a bunch of small airlines there on Arrow Drive Way.
At the light, turn right onto 58th Avenue Southeast.
And my paperwork says call, and then there's a female name. So let's say Sarah. Call Sarah before leaving the building for pickup. Okay, so I assume it's a cell phone, right? So I call the number, a guy answers. Like, what do you do in this situation, you know? And I say, hey, this is equipment rental company. I was given this phone number for Sarah. I'm coming to pick up the scissor lift. I said, do you know anything about this? The guy says, yeah. I said, okay, I'll be there in 25 minutes to pick it up. Oh, by the way, this hotel on the left brings some memories. It's called Blackfoot Hotel. Oh, Hotel Blackfoot. Very nice inside. So this is where I did the photo shoot. Remember I was saying a guy hired me. I think it was sometime in December. He hired me. He owns a machine shop, and he invited a bunch of all his employees and his customers. There was a lot of Russian people there because a lot of Russians work at his machine shop. So I had a good time. It was about 3 hours. The event was about 3 hours long. So I'm heading north on Blackfoot, yeah, on Blackfoot Trail towards downtown. I can see the TV tower from here. And then this one connects with, there's a ramp to Highway 2, Deerfoot Trail. Like I joke sometimes that there's no highways in Calgary, it's all trails. So Blackfoot Trail, and then I'm jumping on Deerfoot Trail. Highway 2, and then the ring road is known as Stony Trail. I don't know what's all this obsession with trails. Why can't we not just use numbers like regular people? No, Highway 2. That's it. What else there to say? No, it's Deerfoot Trail as well. Okay. Have you seen any deer near Highway 2? Negative. Okay, so why do we call it Deerfoot? We're not sure. That's how it was called when it was built in the late 17th century, judging by the traffic solutions they implemented. So that's my guess on how old that highway is. And despite what some people think, most people here drive small cars. See, like this one to the right, Kia, 12-inch wheels, 2-inch off the ground. It's fine. What happens is that if there's too much snow in winter, they just sit at home, or they call their employer and they say, hey, Jim, I apologize, but I cannot leave the garage. There's too much snow in the driveway. What are you, 12? You don't have a snow blower? No, my neighbor stole it. Now I sue him for moral damage. Downtown is to our left. Now this spot here I really don't like because there's no shoulder and you have my favorite concrete barriers on both sides, I think. Well, over here is 1 foot, right? 1 foot between the road and the concrete. Oh, okay, it's only in the middle. But then on the right, it's just a curb. And over there you have, I don't know, 4 inches. So it can be a bit scary, you know, like driving like in the dark especially. Now imagine if you have an oversized load. And here it's 70 clicks an hour, and then it becomes, I think, 60. Somewhere here there should be a sign, yeah. And sometimes you see a speed camera lady, you know, in that drive safe vehicle that nobody, it doesn't fool anybody. She sits here with flashing lights, drive safe, because that's their favorite spot, is when the speed limit changes. So let's say it's 70 and you're driving 90, and then it changes to 60. Of course nobody pays attention, so you keep driving 90 clicks an hour, so now you're 30 clicks over. That's a good sizable ticket. A good catch for the drive safe person. Okay, we're almost there, almost. I think there's a couple of more lights. Yeah, so basically, judging by vehicles over here, it's like a regular Canadian town. You know, if you just judge by vehicles, you would not guess that we are in Western Canada. It's just like everywhere else. It's a mix-up of small cars, small SUVs, big SUVs, minivans, pickup trucks. And this on the right used to be a truck stop. It's still called Blackfoot Truck Stop, but they pretty much eliminated all parking. They blocked off all parking. There's a bunch. I do see sometimes like one truck, but my understanding is that they don't allow parking, like overnight parking anymore, but they still call themselves a truck stop. But there's a restaurant inside, and I'm guessing that's they only allow parking for big trucks when you go into the restaurant. So here we cross the river, and then there should be a ramp on the left. Yeah, Deerfoot TR Trail. This is north, that's south.
In 300 meters, use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto the Alberta 2 North Deerfoot Trail Road.
Your wish is my command, Miss Google. I'm a small vehicle, so I don't need to be in the outside lane. Of course, if I was driving my tractor trailer,
600 meters.
I would definitely be in that lane, but that lane ends. See, I already know I know the areas where which lane you have to be in. Like that right lane ends, so you have to be in the left lane. Anyway, what's the temperature now? 0 C. So I listened to news a little bit about Trump's first days in the office. So a bunch of executive orders. So just like his first term, chaos ensues because he wants to cancel the birthright citizenship and entry to US from certain countries. I think is banned again. No, I don't remember. So it's gonna be chaos again for anybody who is not a citizen or doesn't have a green card.
In 500 meters, merge onto head north toward Alberta 2 north. In 500 meters, merge onto Alberta 2 north.
Yeah, you see, so the right lane ends. So only one lane connects with Highway 2. Alright, so let's go.
Alberta 2 north for 9 kilometers.
Let's go get our scissor lift. And this building to my right, it looks like an office building, right? Except if you pay attention, the windows on the top floor, they kind of like funny looking, like there's some kind of film on them. You don't see any lights. So when you open the door, there's a bay door on the this is north, this is on the south side. And I remembered this because, you know, on the paperwork it says rented on, like you can look on the date they rented. I'm always curious, you know, how long did they have the machine. So I brought this here in October 24, you know. So inside this building it's an airline, and so when they opened the door I was like struck, you know, and dumbfounded because there's like 3 small jets inside, because this is a pretty big building, and the rear side hooks up to the airport. Oh, so I still have like 10-15% of the battery left. And so yeah, so I called them, they opened that door. I called them before saying that I'm coming, and then when I came here I remembered this Pacific Coastal Airlines, but this entire building, there's some other company in here, so but there's like 3 jets in there. So they open the door and it's so clean inside, like you can drink off the floor, you know. It's like a space center, you know, like with a space shuttle. It's like a different world, I'm telling you. Like they open the door and here you have like all these dirty roads, snow, you know, back then let's say rain in October probably. And they open the door, everything is pristine, everything is shining, super clean, and this nice super clean aircraft sits there. Like, how do they wash them, by the way? They're pretty big. So I started asking one guy now, I said, how heavy are they? Like, can you move them on a truck? You know, like this. It's like a medium size, you know, one of those jets that rich people have. But this one probably actually it's slightly bigger. It's maybe can take I don't know, 15 people, you know. And right there, that's the on the other side there's a fence, and I see some planes are parked. And when they open the rear bay door, and they're in the airport, you know. So pretty cool. And here we have a bunch of hotels here because we're close to the airport, right? Bunch of hotels. There's this Westin, there's a Hyatt over there, and then over here we have a casino. Yeah, the other day I took a guy there. I think he was going to work. And once I picked up a lady over here, also at the casino. I was about to go home because, you know, I live not too far. I live like 7 kilometers from here, right? So I was doing Uber, and of course Uber never tells you where the customer is going. So I drop off a guy over there at the hotel, at a nearby hotel, and then Uber says, well, there's a, I forgot her name, but like, here's the name, passenger's name, 1 minute away. Okay, so I pick up that lady over there. She just got off work at the casino, and she was going some 35 kilometers southwest. Man. So after that, I got angry at Uber, and I shut it off, and I just drove home empty because I had no idea where the next passenger would take me, and there was already pretty late. You know, I think it was on a night during the week, so I don't want to be out till 10, right? So because I'm working on the next day. So that's, if you take this road and take the first left, you can get to I can see cars from here, Uber and Lyft. There's straight ahead, about half a kilometer, there's a parking lot where they want us to sit. And this hotel over there, I spent almost a month in that baby because I was waiting for my apartment deal to close. I don't know, it took a very long time, even though it was empty. One of the reasons I bought it, I said I don't want anybody living there, because like one of the apartments the guy showed me, there was clothes everywhere. Like, what is this? And he says, oh, it's rented. And right away I said, no, I don't want to deal with renters, because then, you know, because it was already, they might say, hey, I cannot find an apartment, you know, like another one. So I said, could you please show me something that's empty? Because I want to move in. I have nowhere to live, right? And he shows me that apartment. It's nice, it's clean, it's empty. And still, it took 4 weeks from the time I signed the papers till the time I was allowed to move in. And this is another C60. Before it was 80. So this is another favorite spot of these drive safe idiots to sit. So she would sit here on this little island to the left. Yeah, here where the green sign is. And you can see tracks there. But I guess after a while, you know, people get to know the spots, and so they try to find new ones. Because again, here it's 80, right? So 80 clicks an hour. So let's say you're driving 90, 95, and then the speed limit becomes 60. So now you're a major criminal because you're 35 over. And they can take a picture of your license plate. And they have cameras, and they have like a large DSLR, I saw them. And they have regular cameras that record, but good, lucky for us in Alberta, we only have one license plate in the back, right? So they have to be able to see you from the back in order to give you a ticket. Now look at this guy. 80 kilometers an hour. There's always people here that jump from this airport trail on this. So the speed limit is 110. He or she drives 80. You know, and then it takes maybe half an hour for them to realize, wait a second, why everybody's passing me? Oh, because I'm a moron. I probably should accelerate a little bit. Or maybe give up my license, you know, and go to the old people's home and get a scooter. That's not allowed on the highway. Alright, this is it. So this was a pretty long trip. Usually in the morning I do like 1 drop, 1 pick, or 2 drops, 1 pick, but this was what? 1 drop, the machine, the boom lift, then 1 drop of the parts for repair, and 2 pickups. So this took a long time. So from I left I think around 7:30 and now it's 10:16. See, so time flies when you're having fun.